Hi, I'm Jami with Helena Food Share, where we believe that nutritious food is a building block for healthy communities. At our pantry location, we share more than 6,000 pounds of food each day with our struggling neighbors, and we're committed to treating all with kindness. Through our Nutrition Initiative program, we aim to increase the quality of food we offer to our shoppers. Instead of providing prepackaged food products, it's our goal to offer more real food that can be stretched and turned into warm meals and shared around a table. We think it's a fresher approach to addressing hunger, and it aligns with our mission to treat all with dignity.
Hi, I'm Kara, the program manager at Helena Food Share, where right now our freezers are currently stocked with wild game. Did you know that you can donate your commercially processed game meat to Helena Food Share? We're a recipient of the Hunters Against Hunger statewide grant program. Through this program, hunters are asked to check a donation box on their game tag to go towards processing fees, enabling food banks across the state to receive thousands of pounds of game meat each year. Today we're excited to work with Lloyd at the Extension Office as we celebrate game meat as a high-quality, locally sourced protein we can offer our customers during the cold Montana months. If you want more information on the services that we provide at Helena Food Share, or if you'd like to see more videos like this one, just go ahead and check out our website at helenafoodsshare.org.
And also on our Facebook.
Thank you for watching, and welcome to our table.
Hi, I'm Kim Lloyd with the Lewis and Clark County Extension Office with Montana State University Extension, and I'm also excited to be working with Helena Food Share to provide some healthy, locally grown food here from Montana. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about the wonderful deer venison that Food Share has available in their freezer. And they're really stocked with it right now, but it is actually available for most of the year. The deer burger that they have in the pantry looks like this, comes in little 1 pound portions, it's frozen. What I'd like to do today is I'm going to talk a little bit about venison and what it's good for, the nutrition facts of it, and then I'm also going to go into the importance of storage, cooking meat safely, and then actually demonstrate a fun recipe, something that we can do with venison. So, just to start today, what I love about wild game is that it's actually, so a lot of times we use it in place of things like, especially ground deer, we'll use it in place of ground beef. And what's really great about wild game from deer, elk, antelope, it's actually lower in fat. So you'll get to lower some saturated fat, it's lower in calories. It's actually also higher in some vitamins and minerals. So deer burger especially is really nice and high in the B vitamins, also iron and zinc, and that's actually higher than beef. So it's actually a great alternative to beef, although Montana is a great beef producer as well, so I'm not saying you shouldn't do beef, but as far as an alternative to cooking with beef, deer burger is right up there as a great alternative. So it's low in saturated fat. It would be considered a lean source of protein. So along with things like chicken and turkey and fish, it's another great source of lean protein, which we really encourage to try and get a variety of sources of protein, especially those that are lower in fat. So this is a great alternative. You cannot buy deer or wild game in grocery stores in Montana, but it is available at the Helena Food Share Pantry. So it's great to take advantage of that. And really, you can use it in place of any kind of recipe that calls for ground beef. So that's a great alternative to that. Do pot pies, burgers, stews, things like that. It's a great idea. So once you get frozen meat, it can last in the freezer. I mean, it'll last in the freezer forever as long as it's kept frozen. But for best quality, it should be consumed within 6 to 12 months of getting it from the pantry. And it should stay frozen the whole time. Once the meat is thawed out, it really shouldn't be frozen again. It's not going to be not safe to eat if it was kept in the refrigerator, but if you refreeze thawed out meat, the quality starts to go downhill. So it's best to either keep it frozen for 6 to 12 months and use it within that time, or thaw it out and use it within 2 to 3 days of it being thawed out in the refrigerator. So To get ready to cook venison, it should be thawed out before you start cooking with it. And the best way to thaw out frozen meat is, of course, just to put it in the refrigerator. Frozen meat should never be left out on the counter. We're really worried about food safety here. Bacteria loves to grow at room temperature, so if there is bacteria at some point on the meat, it can continue to grow at room temperature. So really important that we keep our meat either in the refrigerator to thaw out, or if you're in a hurry, there's also an option to microwave and thaw it out that way. If you're not a fan of that, it actually thaws out pretty quickly, just a thin stream of cold water running over the meat in the package. You never want to wash off your meat because it's going to splatter everywhere, so keep the meat in the package while you're thawing it out underneath the water. As you're preparing meat, please make sure to keep it separate from any raw fruits and vegetables. So that could either mean using a separate cutting board, or make sure that you wash it with hot soapy water before you use it for raw vegetables. Also, after handling raw meat, please make sure to wash your hands with hot soapy water. We should wash our hands for 20 seconds. And also wash down the counter surface with some hot soapy water as well. And other things, when you're cooking a burger of any sort, if it's beef or elk or antelope or deer, make sure that it's cooked at 165. And a great way to do that is using a meat thermometer. Can either be used, this is a dial meat thermometer, but you could also use a digital one that might be a little bit more accurate. So just make sure to insert a meat thermometer in and make sure it's cooked at 165. So what we are doing with our venison recipe today is we are going to do a venison sloppy joe. And I really like this because it's simple and it includes one of my favorite high protein, high fiber ingredients in it as well. So we just call these venison sloppy joes. And I've already started the mixture up here, but I'm going to walk through it a little bit. So the ingredients in this sloppy joe mixture is you start off by cooking lentils, which I was saying are one of my favorite high protein, high fiber foods. And FoodShare also has a bunch of lentils. So these lentils are a great addition to the sloppy joe mix. And you start off by just cooking a half a cup of lentils. Half a cup of lentils to 1 cup of water, no salt needed. Just cook these up. This variety of lentils takes about an hour to cook. It's important if you want them to cook faster, you could soak them overnight. That's another option. Otherwise, just while those are cooking, the next step is to get started on cooking the deer. So what I did to make the sloppy joe mix is I thawed out the pound of deer burger and put it in the pan, just the burger. You don't need to add any oil. Although it's lean, if you don't have a nonstick pan, though, it might be a good idea to add just a tiny bit of oil. But really, there's enough fat in there to keep it from sticking on a nonstick pan. So after the meat's all browned up, the next step is to add in some diced onion and some garlic. And you can use fresh onion, fresh garlic. You can also use, a little time-saving tip is just to use some garlic powder and some onion powder. Just throw it in. It's about a 1/4 teaspoon to a clove of garlic. And then maybe a tablespoon for a half of an onion. Other ingredients, once we have the browned burger, the onion, the garlic, we go ahead and throw in the lentils. There is an option to blend up the lentils in like a food processor before you add them into the beef. But if they're cooked down enough and you don't mind seeing them in with the burger, then I think it looks okay to just keep them whole, like you see here. So I like to just keep them whole, but if you would rather hide them from the kids or someone that you don't think would like lentils, you can blend them up and you won't even see them in there. And then the other ingredients, just to add a little spice to the dish, we add a little bit of ketchup. It's about a 1/4 cup ketchup. A little bit of vinegar, could be any kind of vinegar. I had apple cider vinegar. Mustard powder, and if you don't have mustard powder, it's kind of an obscure thing to have on hand. You could also just use, if you have ketchup, you probably have mustard laying around too. and then a little bit of black pepper as well for a little bit of spice. Other options, if you like them a little bit spicier, is you could add in some like green chilies, a can of green chilies. But I like to keep it simple too, and you can always add a little hot sauce or something as well. So once you add in all those ingredients, you just kind of fry it up and make sure it's all heated through. Last step would be to, with the meat thermometer, make sure that it is cooked to 165. So you can test that by probably with a mixture like this, you'd have to gather up a little bit and heat it up. And it's looking good, so it's just about ready. It's starting to smell good in here. And this, I think, so the classic way, of course, is to heat it, put it on a bun. A whole wheat bun would really be the best thing to eat it on, so you get some whole grains in there, some extra fiber as well. But I think this would also be good like on a baked potato, or even maybe throw it on some pasta too. So it's kind of a little versatile mix that you can add to anything. All right, so that's what you can do with venison. And again, we will have this recipe posted on the Helena Food Share website and Facebook page, and also be offering samples one day next month, or for the month of March. So thank you.